Hello and welcome to week 5 of English 111. Week 5, exciting times. Let's take a look at what we're doing for this week. So, yes, more MindTap reading, woohoo, and quizzes. There are 2 quizzes. At least there's 2 quizzes. You have until Saturday the 13th to take those quizzes and do that reading. It's part of your grade. Make sure you do that. We're going to introduce paper 2 this week. Get excited. And you get to begin working on the rough draft of the thesis for paper 2, which I'll explain in just a second. You'll have until the 15th to get that done. That's really not going to be that hard, honestly, I promise you. The big one is you get to finish the final draft of paper 1. This is big. This is a big part of your grade. I say it's a big part of your grade. It is a big part of your grade. You have until Friday the 12th at 11:55 to get that done. So, again, what's due this week? You need to submit the final draft of paper 1, which I'll show you how to do in just a second. You need to submit the rough draft of the thesis for paper 2, which I'll explain in just a second. And then you take those MindTap quizzes, which is part of the reading there. So that's what's due this week. So when you're done watching this video, what you're going to do is you're going to watch the compare-contrast lecture. It's about 15 minutes long. It explains what paper 2 is all about. Paper 2 is going to be a compare-contrast paper. We're going to break it down into individual parts. I'm going to teach you how to basically write a 5-point essay, as it were, and we're going to use compare-contrast to do it. It'll be fantastic. You'll enjoy it. I don't know if you'll enjoy it, but you'll do it. Anyway, so when you're done watching this video, watch this one. You're like, oh, I know. No, watch the video. No, I got it. No, watch it. Watch it. Because if you don't, then you're not going to do well in your paper, I promise. And it's actually somewhat entertaining. I don't know about that. Okay, so introduce paper 2. Introduce paper 2. Paper 2 is a compare-contrast assignment, which is found right here. Wah! Notice this right here, MindTap quizzes. This is where I have to have a little link here so I can manually enter in the grades because they don't go in for MindTap. So you don't have to worry about this one. But the compare-contrast paper, when you click on this, it opens up a new page. Okay, so here's the compare-contrast assignment. You will select 2 subjects, and then you will choose at least 3 ways in which these subjects can be compared or contrasted. The overall topic of the paper should be something that interests you and yet should be appropriate for a college paper. Alrighty, so this kind of breaks it down. I'm going to let you go ahead and read it. If you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck, I don't know. I'll tell you, where can you find out about this? Point by point? What, concluding? What? Guess what? Guess what, people? If you go back to Moodle and you watch this video right here, it explains that. So this video, this one right here I'm looking at, okay, not the one you're watching right now, but the one you'll watch after this one, this really explains the paper assignment. So read through this, watch the video, you'll get a sense of what the paper's about. Then what you're going to have to do for next week when you peek ahead is you just need to come up with the thesis. The thesis is basically, it can be 1 sentence, really. You're going to just pick 2 things you're going to compare or contrast, and make sure you're going to say one better than the other. Make sure you're clear about that. And then 3 different ways they're going to be compare contrasted. If you're completely confused, what can you do? Oh, I don't know. How about watch this video up here, compare contrast lecture. It'll make sense. I promise. So it's really not that challenging for next week. But speaking of challenging, there is challenging narration, the final paper. Now, please note several things. This is the final draft of your paper. It is worth a lot. It's worth 70% of the paper's overall total. The other 30% rather, you got where to go? Way up here. Okay. Wow. Where did I put it? Okay, the narration. So again, this is the narration paper. So the rough draft of just the thesis was worth 10%. Then the full rough draft was worth 20%. And then the rest of this is the other 70%. So it's big. It's a big part of this. Please note the following. Load it as a doc and a doc or a docx file only. That's basically a Word document. Do it this way. Okay, you have to be very careful you upload the correct file. This has been a big problem in the past, and I figured out why. Okay, there's 2 main reasons why people upload the incorrect file. Okay, and what's going to happen if you do? Well, actually, I'll spoil this first. Here are the 2 reasons people upload the incorrect file. Number 1, they're not paying attention. They haven't saved the file as a name that they completely understand what it is. So when you're done writing your final draft, maybe name the final draft, I don't know, maybe narration final draft, so you know that's it. Okay, so often people upload the incorrect one because they are confused which one it was. The second reason, which is a little more insidious, boo, shame on you people, is that they didn't finish the assignment on time. They submit their rough draft, okay, saying, oh, oopsie, I sent you the wrong one, my fault, and then they take 3 or 4 more days to finish writing the assignment. Yeah, no, we're not playing that game. So if you upload the wrong file, you will get a 0 on this part of it. I'm serious, okay? Also, revision is a big part of this. Okay, if there are not significant changes between the final and rough draft, that's a problem. I'm going to give you feedback on your rough draft. You need to make changes. You can't just change 1 or 2 words here, okay? Also, I'm strongly encouraging everyone, contact the Writing Center. Set up a time where they can meet with you and help you work on your final draft. Get it all cleaned up and nice. And we'll go over the rubric on that in just a second. And last but not least, you will earn a 0. So if you did not do significant changes, what significant changes? Okay, basically you rewrite the whole thing and make it better, okay? Because a lot of these rough drafts are going to be really messy with all sorts of grammar and spelling and stuff like this. You basically need to rewrite it and make it nicer. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. And then also you will get a 0 if you have plagiarized any part of your essay. So if you've copied this from a previous assignment you've done, or from another class or somebody else's student, you will get an automatic 0 on this. Now, how can I tell? Well, it's interesting. You notice that this is a different symbol. We haven't seen this before. So let me show you how you're going to upload your paper. You're going to click on this final draft here. You're going to click on this. This is something called Turn It In. Okay, it's a different type of thing. Now, the reason I use this for some of the papers is that it does a couple of things for me. Number one, most importantly, is that it automatically checks to see if your paper has been plagiarized. It will scan through your whole document and it will look to see if any other papers have been submitted and how much of your paper was copied. Yeah, technology. Yeah, pretty impressive, huh? Don't copy. Just don't. Just write a new, fresh, brand new one and you'll be fine. Okay. On here you'll see the rubrics. So if you click on this thing, it looks like a little Rubik's Cube, but it's not the same thing, Rubik's as opposed to rubric. Anyway, click on this little thing right here, boop, it opens up a new window. This is the rubric. This is how you're going to get graded for this final narration paper. Did you use MLA formatting? If you did, okay, and you had no problems with the formatting, get full points. If only there was a video that shows you how to set up MLA formatting. Oh, there is! It's in the resources section of this Moodle page. Anyway, page length. You need to be at least 2 full pages and then no more than 5. 2 full pages means all the way to the end of bottom of page 2. Not somewhere in the middle of page 2, at the bottom. You need to get all the way to the bottom of page 2 for that to count. Your thesis, you need to make sure that that thesis is clear. Why are you telling me this story? You know, why is this story important to you? It needs to be very clear. Grammar, this is a big one. Grammar issues. There's probably going to be a lot of grammar issues just because we're still learning, okay? But there's a lot of tools that you can use to help you clean up your grammar, including the Writing Center. Tense and point of view, that's POV, stands for point of view, okay? You need to use first person, past tense throughout the whole paper. Again, that's described in a previous lecture, but first person is, I did this, I did this. You don't want to have, you love to do this, and you, okay, no, we're not doing that. Also, past tense is in the past. I walked down the stairs. I fell into a giant pit. I ate a taco. That's past tense, stuff that happened in the past. That's the way it needs to be. And then last, okay, the paper, I gave you 2 prompts that you can choose from, okay? If you kind of started right on the prompt and kind of went, woo, yeah, that's not going to be good. So just make sure that you're addressing one of the prompts. So that is the rubric. Yeah. Okay, so then to upload your paper, you would click here on Submit Paper, okay? Submit Paper. This will open up a new window. You give this a title, Jason Morgan Narrative Final Draft, okay? And then what I would do, this is the easiest way to do it, is just to go to my little folder here and find out where I did it. Let's just say this is my file right here. It's not, but just for the sake of giggles. You just drag it and drop it. Boop. And then you'd add submission, okay? But again, be extremely careful that this is the correct file. If it's not, you will get a 0. That's bad. We don't want to see that happen. So let's go back to week 5. So that's basically what's going on for week 5 here. Let's go through this again real quick. So week 5, do the MindTap reading. We introduce paper 2. Begin working on the rough draft of the thesis of paper 2. And then the big one is finishing this paper, and you have until Friday. Again, don't turn it in late because then you'll get docked. Peeking ahead to week 6, the rough draft of the thesis is due. I'll be adding more stuff to this next week, so don't worry about that. But that's, again, this is just the first paragraph. It could even just be one sentence, okay, of your compare contrast paper. So that's what's coming up. If you have questions, email me. If the questions have been answered in this video, you will get the response. Go back and watch the video. But again, so now that you're done watching this video, pat yourself in the back, get a snack, do something fun, come back, and then watch the compare contrast lecture. Yes, very important for you to understand what's going to be the next assignment. All right, thanks.